What's going on? Welcome to the Beat Hunter Dance Talk Show. Um, I am so excited for what's coming because when it comes to like breaking down the topic that I'm going to break down today, it's like what I live for because Beat Hunter Dance is about growth. It's about freedom. It's about identity and how we can move forward. So, my name is Joel Casanova. I'm the creator and founder of Beat Hunter Dance, and this talk show exists to help your dance journey be healthy, productive, and 100% yours. And if you weren't there for episode 1 of the talk show, if you were there for the episode 1 of the talk show, you'd know that I gave my definition of dance journey. That's how this whole thing started off with, because this talk show is about your dance journey, making it healthy, productive, 100% yours. The second part of the definition, there's 3 parts. Quiz time, pop quiz, right? The second part was skill in dance, which is specifically your body's ability to express and execute movement. You know, no matter where you are in your dance journey, your body's the way it is right now, how it is, and it will just progress from there. Now, let me make something very, very clear. People are not born with an incredible ability to dance. Okay? Even if you have an affinity towards dancing and movement makes sense in your head, it still is a skill that you can grow in, and it takes time. It takes a process of growth. Now, here is something that I find funny about us humans, is that we use words, in this case process, and we all have a different idea of what that means in our heads. And I think something, and you think something different, and they think something different, and he and she and we all think something different, but no one says anything. We're all thinking of different things, but using the same words, and no one like defines the terms of why we're doing what it is that we're doing. So I am going to lay down what that means. You know, so people say like, "Oh yeah, man, it's a process. Just trust the process. Like, let it happen, right?" But they don't know what that means. So what does that mean, the process? For me, the process is made up of 3 ingredients. Okay? Decisions, direction, and time. And when you have those 3 things, decision, direction, and time, your process of growth in dance, specifically the skill of dance, will work for you. And the whole sentence is the process of growing skill in dance. But I'm not going to say that every time because that's a huge sentence. So when I say the process for the rest of this episode, you know what I mean. I mean the process of growing skill in dance. Okay? So let's go through this. Number 1, decisions. Your decisions are your will in action. Right? You want something and you're putting action behind it to achieve what it is that you want, your will. Okay? That requires knowing what actions are in alignment with your will. Right? Say I want to go to Florida. I'm in Virginia right now. And I just arbitrarily say, okay, I want to go to Florida. It's just, I wake up one day and I'm like, we're going to Florida. That's what's happening. That's what my will is. That's what I want to do. If I just lay in my bed and don't do anything, I don't have no actions at all, let alone actions that align with my will, it's not going to happen. Right? I need a car. I need keys. Well, okay. I need to wake up, get out of bed, take a shower, hopefully, and brush my teeth, hopefully. Then I need my keys to get in my car. I need my wallet because I can't actually drive I shouldn't drive without a license. You should drive with a license, right? get in my car, fill it with gas, go to Florida, right? I need all those decisions ahead of time to say, hey, these actions are aligning with my will of going to Florida. Okay, let's make it super, super practical. If you dance or want to dance, actually, let's back it up. Let's say you don't know how to dance and you want to not feel awkward in dancing. That is your will. You want to feel in control. You want to feel free to express yourself and all the things that come with knowing how to dance, right? If you don't take dance lessons, which is what happens the majority of the time, then you will not take actions to align with your will of not wanting to feel awkward, because it's going to be a cycle. You don't take dance lessons, so you feel awkward dancing, and then you don't take dance lessons because you feel awkward dancing, and you don't go to dance class because you see how that happens, right? Versus if you're like, I don't want to feel awkward dancing, so I'm going to take dance lessons so I can know how to dance so I don't feel awkward dancing, and I feel free, and all the benefits that come with knowing how to dance, right? Your actions are then aligning with your will. But we can't just take random actions that don't work towards where we're going. So the second step, the second ingredient, is direction. It's the logical trajectory from point A to point B or C or D or Z, right? All the E's. If you need a logical trajectory to get you from one place to the other. You're mapping out the journey. Okay. Going back to the Florida example, if I wanted to go to Florida, but I arbitrarily decided, hey, let's go alphabetically through all the states till we get to F, starting in A till we get to F and then get to Florida. That would be not illogical. It would be completely illogical for me to do it in a productive way, right? But a lot of times that's what we go through when it comes to dancing, right? If you are a teacher, you take your students through this progression and you're like, well, this is how we've always done it, so let's do it this way. And that's not productive to the person that's in front of you. Or as dancers, we do and make decisions that are not in line with what is helpful for us. If I am really good at ballet and I want to get better at hip hop, I can't take a tap class. That's not going to help me, right? Or if I'm really good at hip hop and I want to get better at ballet, I should take a ballet class. I should not take a breakdancing class, which is different from hip hop. We're not going to get into that, right? For me specifically, like last year, I got more into performing dance and theater, right? I was about to be in a musical theater production. And so to prepare myself, I went technically the opposite direction. I went into a adult Shakespeare camp, which is not singing, not dancing, straight scenes and interactions and character and accents and all those things. And with a text that is super complicated and hard to read if you don't know what you're doing. But that wasn't hindering me. That was me running with ankle weights. I intentionally went that direction so that when I come back around, I have contemporary language that I understand, and I have singing, and I have dancing to supplement the storytelling. I'm now free to continue doing that and things that I'm good at. So I went the opposite direction. That was part of my training to then go the other direction. That was the roundabout way, right? So as teachers, well, usually when you are getting direction, it's going to come from a teacher or mentor who is going to give you the trajectory because they're on the outside looking in. They're like, hey, this is where Jamie is at, right? Whoever Jamie is. This is who Jamie is, and this is what he or she needs, right? This is all where they are right now, where they want to go, and I'm going to map out the different points to get you from A to B or C or D or Z, all the E's, right? So they're gonna, and it's not always linear. It's not like you need to go here, so we're gonna take a straight line. We're gonna take a straight line from A to B, right? Usually, it kind of curves around. Because I am a dancer and I'm a performer, I specifically took the roundabout way because I knew that's what was good for me. but I've been doing this for a long time, right? If you don't know how to create your own trajectory, someone from the outside, a teacher who has your best interest in mind, will help you build the skill of dance. Okay? So it's not always going to be a straight line. It's going to kind of wobble. How long should we be doing that? That is the third ingredient, time. Right? This is the hardest one because humans are humans. And first of all, it takes patience. And no one wants to wait for the things that they want. It's just like, I want this super bad. I don't want to have to wait for it any longer than I have to. Right? Because this is my desire. And second of all, because time is the only piece that if you don't have the other two involved, it is actually detrimental, right? Time without the first two ingredients is stagnation. You're just sitting there doing nothing. And if you want to grow and dance, it's not going to happen if you don't make decisions and have direction. The opposite is when you have those two ingredients with time, everything is working, the process is working for your growth in dance. And everything's going to work for you. Because the time is like adding layer upon layer upon layer of things that all grow towards your goal, right? If you know me at all in any sense, in for any like 5 minutes amount of time, you know that I love analogies, and analogies make the world go round, and I wouldn't say they're necessary, but I like them. So I'm going to say that they're necessary, okay? For me. That's how my brain works. The analogy that I thought about for this topic was that we all have a bucket that holds our dance skill, right? The bigger the bucket is, the more you can retain dance skill. We all start off, we're all born with a small bucket. And the small bucket can only hold so much dance skill. Okay, when I was 11, when I started dancing, I'm 29 now, turning 30 in the next couple months. When I was 11, my bucket was tiny in comparison to the bucket that I have now. But here's the best part about the bucket. The bucket grows the more it's given. It's like a water balloon. It just inflates, right? You have this bucket that the more you pour into it, the more it grows. But because it starts small, the majority of things will start overflowing. Right? So the skills and the training I was getting, I could only retain so much of it before it started overflowing out of my small bucket at 11 years old. So as the bucket grows with us, we're able to hold more things. I've been dancing for 18 years. 18 years. Yeah, 11 to 20. Yeah, 18 years. Right? Out of 18 years, I've grown so much more because my bucket has grown, because I've been constantly giving more. And it's overflowing until I can eventually grow and hold it, right? One of the things that's inside my bucket now that I can hold is the skill of submitting to the process of growing skill in dance. I can submit to the process because I know the time it takes to grow in this skill, to the point where I don't have to think about dancing well. I just think about dancing well, and that feels normal to my body. So, it goes a step further because I'm no longer just a dancer. I have added the skill of teaching, which is in my bucket. So now that I'm in the position of teaching, I can go deeper into understanding what is required for the process for a student. I look on the outside and I see, okay, Ben needs A, B, C, and D. I'm going to map out the trajectory to go to this thing until he gets to this point. So when you're in a class of mine, specifically, I am constantly giving you more than you can handle, even if it's just by a little bit. Right? If this is your line, I'm constantly trying to push it. I'm filling your bucket so that it overflows, so that it grows more, so you can hold more. Right? So that means if you're in a class of mine, you will not get everything perfectly the first time, and that's okay. The more important thing that you should understand is that you need to understand the parts that make up process. Decisions, which is your will and action. Direction, which is the trajectory of your growth. And time. Just time of doing these two things over and over again for a long period of time. 2, you need to submit to the process and understand, okay, just in a sober way of thinking, not pessimistically, but just realistically saying, this is what it's going to take for me to grow in this thing. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for me to get this thing, but I'm going to continue doing this thing with time as my friend and not my foe. And third, which is the most important, is enjoying the process while you're in it. Right? This is not me telling you as someone who already knows all these things and didn't have to struggle with it. Like, I'm growing in making a talk show, growing my students, building my business. I've gone through these things. Even just the skill of dance, I've progressed. I've gone through the process and submitted my process. And I understand that it's not always going to be fun to grow because you're challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself past your limits. That's the whole point. It's gonna feel heavy at some point. But if you can enjoy it and you don't need to know how long it's going to take, no matter how long it takes, short or long, you're going to be in something, short or long, that you enjoy. And like me coming on to this, like seeing my growth in this, like it took me like 15 minutes to go live the very first episode because I had this wall of this to do this thing that I have never done before. And now I was like, cool, I prepped for my thing, I did the stuff, and I'm going live. Let's do it. Right? I have Instagram going so I can have something before and after I get done with this. And we're just going at it. Right? It's easier for me now because I've made the decision and I have direction and I am giving it the time it takes. Months from now, live streaming will be, and doing the talk show will be a cakewalk for me. It'll be something that I know how to do. Easy. I can't say that right now, but I know the trajectory that I'm on. So enjoy the process as much as you can because it's not always going to be easy, but it's always going to be worth it, especially if it's something that you want. Think of those three things. Okay. Here's a great example. I have a website and an Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram at any time. I will answer. Promise. Or you can live chat me on my website or just check out the stuff that I have. I am doing a hip hop musicality class, but it's no longer in the future. Okay? It's still in the future. It's just less in the future. Okay? Next week is the first hip hop musicality class. It's going to be a live stream, but it's going to be a private live stream. Okay? I'm only going to give the link to certain people who have paid for the class to grow. And it's going to be a hip hop musicality class, which means that it's going to grow your musicality for hip hop specifically by building the muscles in your body, not so that we can learn like choreo on this live stream, but you can gain the skills. So whatever hip hop you want to do for yourself, for a studio, for a performance, whatever you're going to use it for, you now have the skill in it. We're zeroing in on these skills, these drills, these muscles, these concepts that I've broken down to help you with hip hop specifically. Ow. Help you with hip hop specifically. I just hit my finger. So next week there is a form in the description. There's also a form on my Linktree, which is the link in my bio of all my Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. So sign up. It's going to be fun. Guaranteed. And I will be creating a trajectory for you, even though it's a live stream. You can comment and ask questions and do all the things. But this is a growth process. So it's going to be every week. And no matter what age you are, what skill level you are in hip hop, you will grow in something. Right? If you already know how to do hip hop, you're just going to grow more. If you've never done hip hop before, you're going to start planting those seeds so that they grow. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. I'm going to put up that information later. And next week I am going to be talking with Joy Clayton. So before I put up the musicality class information, I'm going to pull up this video. This is a great. Okay, I'm going to have to push this real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Users. So, Joy Clayton is a friend of mine, and I interviewed her a while back. And you're going to see that conversation on Wednesday. Oh, where is this? There it is. Okay. Here's a small sample of the conversation I'm having with Joy Wednesday.
Motion and physical movement is your first way as a human to begin to communicate. And so and child development is my background, so sometimes I jump into that a little bit. Okay, so human development, a child does not have words first. They have cries, they have motion, they have movement. And so when a child begins to grow in their gross motor skills, and that's humans overall, gross motor meaning your large body movements, your large muscles, versus your fine motor, which is picking up a pencil or using your fingers and those smaller faculties. Gross motor movement basically allows you to get what you need, get your needs met. And so when a child is laying out and they're tantruming or they're dancing, they are communicating. So what we see is human development as communication. And somehow God has pre-wired that into the human. And so for me, it can't be separate from what you do going to church is something you learned, right? Because we were taught to get up, get dressed, go to this place. We were taught that, but we weren't taught to move. We came with that.
Right? So that's a small sample of the conversation we're having on Wednesday. Here's the musicality info, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope to see you there, actually. It's going to be all the information is in this next clip.